special guest today. Stop fucking laughing with the intro shit, bro.
Stop throwing in extra shit. I'll stop laughing.
With Matt and Neil. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Not too bad.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah.
No problem. It was a long drive.
It is.
We're from.
Nah, it was alright. Eltham. It's just on the
right.
A80.
That's right in a quarter.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Is it?
Yeah, no, you're far. That's where he lives.
Yeah,
He's around a corner.
I thought Eltham was like near Dandenong.
No,
No.
the other way.
What am I thinking of?
Dandenong.
Yeah.
It's right in the heart of it.
Nothing good happens in Dandenong. What have you been up to in your spare time?
I've had lots of spare time. I've been doing anything but writing. I think that's probably what everyone will say. It's tough, isn't it? Have you found that? It's just tough to talk about anything other than COVID. And I think after like the first 2 weeks of it, I was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be such a creative period of my life. And then 3 weeks in, I've just been hooked on playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's about it. So putting on weight, and like even the first two, I'm going to go for a walk every week, and then I'm going to start jogging. And I haven't even got to the walking yet, so it's just, you know, it's been pretty poor. But I've watched everything that there is to watch, and I'm okay with that with Netflix and stuff, because you know, you go up and you do like a reference to a show or something, you can confidently go up and say, "You guys seen Game of Thrones? Of course you have. We've seen everything. Everyone has seen every single thing that's ever been made." Yeah. We've gone through the Disney Channel, Stan, Netflix, Foxtel. We've done it. It's done.
But don't you get bored of it? Like going, like I've sort of switched off the TV thing. As in, like I've just gone, nah, I can't do it every day.
But they all follow the same formula.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew this before. We were just talking. We've done film and TV studies and stuff. You know, you got a start, a middle, and the end. And there's always, you know, something happens in the middle which hooks you in, and then you watch till the end, and it's either a happy ending or a sad ending. And that's the same for every single show that you watch. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
You got to get into the documentaries.
Even they follow a similar formula.
Yeah, but if you don't know too much about it, like I started watching that Epstein one.
I want to start that tonight. Yeah. What? He's an alright guy, isn't he? What's he done?
It's brutal.
You're going to see some brutal. I was talking about this on the last couple of podcasts, and it's brutal. It's shocking, and it's very the way this guy played a system, and you sort of sit there and go, nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah,
it's that was the sad part about it. Like I felt for the girls, you know, like I really, you know, like. I just felt for these women, like these. You could just see the money crush people that had no money, sort of thing. And the way that he did it was you couldn't really get him.
Yeah.
So he fell in the trap. And I don't want to spoil it. You guys will watch it, but.
Well, we know he dies in the end.
Even the ending, but it was one of those stories where even the ending shit.
Oh, right, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be more to this than...
Yeah, that's not... That hasn't killed it for... That hasn't won the day for anyone. No. It's still wreck.
Yeah. But it was just sad to see, like, you see... I said it to Geordie the other day, they pulled out a fucking... It was like a pyramid scheme. And the cop was trying to explain how it all happened, and he'd say, well, she recruited her, and then she recruited her, and it just literally did that.
That's pretty much the
funneled into straight down to his cock, mate. It was just like a fucking arrow down to his cock, and it's like, you fucker.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jeffrey Epstein had a small dick, because all the women that mentioned, you know, I had to give him a massage, and then he rolled over. Not one of them has said, and it was fucking huge.
No.
It was probably like going with the younger ones because it looks bigger.
Potentially.
And there's our first edit.
Potentially. But, you know, like, you know, some women say, oh, you know, this guy wants to fuck, he was hung. Like, there's nothing like that at all.
Yeah.
So I'm going on a limb and saying yes.
Well, he was hung in the end, wasn't he?
Shit. But even that, they'll disprove that, and you'll see it at the end. And you're sitting there going, what? Wait a minute. what? You know, it was like, I had to go back to it, like I finished it up last night and I just went, fuck. But it's just the way they ended it I didn't like, because it was sort of like, that's it, story's done. And it's like, well, no, it's not. What about that other bitch that was connected to him? Where the fuck is she? Why
Yeah, she was roaming around. Apparently she got it on with Clinton or something, didn't she? They were an item for a bit.
I
read that in the story recently, yeah. I think like this is like the last few days it came out, and I thought it was because of the documentary, but obviously it's something that it's crazy.
They didn't mention any, like I mentioned him and her, but they didn't actually mention them together or anything like that.
Yeah. Did they go into Bill Clinton much or not?
They did, in the sense of they just went, and this is the thing about it. One of the girls went, he was on the plane, I think it was 24 times. He said, no, I've never been to that island. But you can actually see the plane records 24 times. He's flown 26 times or whatever it was. And then she goes, well, he was just there.
Right.
And she didn't elaborate anymore, the girl that was sort of, you know, massaging Epstein. And then the gardener's gone, well, yeah, and it just like, cut to the gardener, and the gardener's like, yeah, or housekeeper, whatever he was, yeah, she had her top off. And it just sort of, I'm just sort of sitting there going, what relevance is this got? You know what I mean? Like, did somebody fuck him, or was somebody there, you know? And I think there's a lot more to it, but it will never come out. You know, I don't think there's too many people a lot stronger than what he is.
Yeah.
And I think if you ever want to watch a good doco, watch The Family on Netflix. It's called.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet. That's about the religious.
That is
Christian.
That is freaky shit. Like not freaky as in I believe it, because I know a mate of mine that you know, great guy, still friends with him till this day. But he got into like religion, Latter-day Saints or whatever they were, and the power these people had. He was getting flighted, you know, taken to fucking places and choppers, and they had these meetings, and it was full on. Like you could just see the money and the wealth that these people accumulate, and they look after their own. And it was exactly like this family one. You've got to watch it. I mean, I love that sort of shit, but then you get in the hole.
Yeah.
And then you get in the hole, then I'm sitting there going, oh, fuck, all right, I've got to watch one more. And it's this whole fucking, that's not good for you, you know, I don't think.
Yeah, you got to switch it up a little bit though. That's where then you go and watch The Goonies again or something like that.
Well, I did that last night. I said to Geordie, I watched Ali G, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Woo,
Ali G in the house, yeah. But selector.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Can you do the...
No, I wish.
No.
My hands are too small.
There you go. Your hands are small.
A mate at work can do it, but I can't fucking... No, my hands are way too small.
Oh yeah, I can shout.
I can't
Used to be
even
able to
click
do it
properly.
better. I can't click. There you go.
Fuck your hands.
That's Ali G, yeah. So pedos and Ali G, that's what you've been watching. That's right. That's your lockdown. At least you're just watching it, I guess. That's yeah, do you see?
Oh, am I?
Yeah. Well, this is something I just saw today. You know Married at First Sight, all those kind of shows on free to air. There's the Farmer Wants a Wife. And that's coming up soon, apparently. And I don't watch any of these shows. I've never seen any of them, but I've seen the ads for them. And the advertising for Farmer Wants a Wife has been very much. This is the only true love show that there is. This is the one where people actually go on to get married, and it's all wholesome and loving and stuff. So watch this one. It's not like the other rubbish. This is just it's nice people looking to get married. And the story in like the headline in Daily Mail today is one of the contestants from the last Farmer Wants a Wife is going to prison for being a pedophile. So I'm not sure how they're going to spin it now. It looks like Farmer doesn't want a wife. You know what I'm saying? Farmer wants children.
Farm hands.
Yeah, farm hands, lots of them. So that's I don't know. The PR spin on this will be amazing, but
But they'll spin it.
Yeah, they'll have to.
They'll spin it, and then people will still watch it, and people won't. And it's the whole problem. People just go, well, whatever.
he's not on this season.
It's not really it's not affecting me, so whatever, you know.
Well, it's just too awful to know. Just lift the rug, rug up,
push it underneath,
push under there, and you know, that's it. Get on with it.
But yeah,
the world's fucked.
Maybe we should just sit here in silence for the rest of the yeah.
I watched The Last Dance for some reason because I don't like sport at all. But it was
I
shot
bet it's really
well.
good.
why did you don't like sport?
I don't know why I watched it. Yeah, I did. I don't know why I watched
Trick
it.
of a man.
You don't like any sport at all? Like, just ever had any interest at all?
Oh no, I used to play cricket and footy, but then music took over, and I just I can't think of anything more boring than tuning into radio and listening to people spit stats about when this team met last time, blah blah blah. Like, this is boring.
I love my football, and that's it. I like cricket as well, as in football, as in soccer. Yeah.
Aussie rules, no.
Never got into it. I mean, I've been here since I was 14, and I just haven't. My younger brothers got into it. They go for the Demons and North Melbourne, but I just I don't know. I think maybe I was too far gone by the time I got here. I just can't get into it. I give it a chance. I've seen Gary Ablett play. He was and recognised that he was quite brilliant as well. I'm talking the original, you know, the prostitute murdering one. Is that what he did?
What?
Something like that. What did he do?
No, he got caught snorting drugs with it or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
is she still alive?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Right. I don't know the guy. I don't know Harry Ablett.
I hope if she's watching, I hope you're all right. Or listening.
Might have to fact check this one.
Yeah. It's more interesting the way I put it. It's
Yeah.
definitely more interesting. I'd watch that documentary. That's I just never got into it. So yeah, just growing up as a soccer fan in Australia is
cricket. You like? You must.
I do like cricket. Yeah, but I didn't get into that till I was 18 until we lived here. So do you like cricket?
I used to like it back in the day, one day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we're talking like fucking this stuff, Louis days and.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like now, there's nothing like that anymore. You know, like
no,
that.
the characters.
Yeah, you need that. I think in that whole. Yeah, you just need that.
Yeah, because it's boring.
It was actually funny. I was a brother-in-law goes the other night. I was at his place and he's gone, "Fucking, I hate cricket." Do you really? Perfect. Give me your fucking remote. So straight to YouTube. I'm gonna show you what one day what it was about. And I put on the fucking come on Aussie, come on. And so I've showed him that. And I go, and we knew it, and me and Anna were singing along, and my sister jumped in, and I went, perfect. And then he's just like, oh, fucking prick, he's touching my TV, and it's got cricket on it. And so we went through this whole process, and it was just like, all right, now you got to watch, see, it's got like, it's got an over to go, there's fucking, 6 balls, there's like fucking 10 runs to go, he's got to get to the 10 run, and I just wanted to do it for my entertainment. It was just purely my entertainment. But I used to love it. Like that was the best because you get to that point where it'd be like an over left or 2 overs left. Fucking, 12 balls and then you'd be like, come on, fucking, but I don't know, just big bash like that. I've never really.
I don't really get into the 2020.
No. Okay.
That's lost me.
Yeah. I went to a tests thing and that lost me completely.
I love a test more than the one day, but I do like England won the last one day World Cup.
Yep.
And that was extremely exciting, the last few overs of that. Yep. But I'm more of a Ashes Test Series kind of guy. But yeah, there you go. I didn't realise this was a sport podcast. How cool is that?
We dabble in everything. Bring out the Coke now.
I can't wait to see the little description of this episode. Pedophiles. Sport. Farmer wants a wife.
We do not condone any of these things.
No.
Not even sport for Geordie. So there you go.
I like motorsport. But that's
you're a mechanic, but not even like motorsports.
I'll watch it, but I couldn't tell you who that driver is.
I like water sports. You strike me as someone who would love that.
I do like Wipeout. Does that count?
Oh no, I meant when you piss on each other. So. That kind of.
Never say ever.
Golden showers and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't have enough clean sheets for that.
There you go.
I'd imagine that'd be very time consuming if that was your thing.
Not golden showers.
Yeah. If you had to do it in the bedroom. You couldn't have an electric blanket or anything.
It would smell.
It would smell.
Like if you've got mates coming around the next day, they're like,
What the fuck do you do, man?
Benny's house smells of piss, doesn't it?
I think that'd be a bathroom only thing. You'd have to have a big bathroom for that shit, I think.
Yeah, to enjoy it, to fully enjoy it.
Yeah, to get immersed in it.
Yeah.
Immersed probably isn't the right word, but yeah.
Like a big bathtub.
Candles and shit.
Lots of fluids in the house.
Oh God.
And and I mean just water. I'd imagine they just drink the pure stuff.
Keep it clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or vodka to get really into it.
Hey,
Pineapple juice.
Yeah, pineapple juice.
yeah. Apparently that's a winner, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
apparently,
with it being lockdown, I'm sure a few people have like just gone. Do you want to try pissing on each other tonight?
I know we've got a perfectly good toilet, but do you want to try it? Yeah.
And then the wife would be like, "Do we really have the bathroom space for that?" No, we've got lots of plastic bags around the house. We could try one. It's going to look like we're serial killers. Yeah, but no one's coming over, are there? So might get. Oh no, maybe they did. Hey, and if you did, good on you.
Let us know.
Yeah. Send in a postcard to Benny's house.
No, not
PO
Ben.
box.
No, we're diverting to Eltham for that one.
I'll read it. I'll read anything. Send it to me.
No, we don't mind a bit of mail. Yeah, fucking BJ, balls out, fucking at Gmail. Fucking send us what you want. Just no pedo pictures, no pissing on each other. Just put it out there.
Well, there goes this episode. That's basically that's it.
You can't kick shame people these days.
No.
Unless they're a pedo. I think that's fair.
Nah, fuck you. Yeah, no, I don't condone that shit. No.
Fuck no.
Fuck that.
Kind of what we not condoning?
Pedos.
Yeah, no, I didn't think I was going to. Do we even need to mention that? I thought you meant like pissing on each other. I was like, guys,
Oh, no.
I mean, look, I'm
however
not
you
into
party,
it, but
how
that's a
you party.
strong stance. There's some alternative people out there who might.
Yeah, but fucking, what would you want to piss on somebody? Seriously, like, what the fuck? What do you? What's the?
I agree.
What do you get out of it? What would you get out of it?
Relief,
Realistically.
probably. I don't know.
Well, relief, fucking pissing the shit, piss her, and fucking come back and bang her, and bada boom, you're done.
Yeah, it would be
No,
weird.
I
wouldn't it?
don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
You'd piss on them and then she'd be like, "Shall we do it now?" No, you're covered in piss.
What would you do if that situation happened to you? Would you turn around? Well, put it both of you. I mean, so hypothetically, you're not married. You've met a girl.
This is the best day of my life. Go on.
No. You get back to your, plush apartment.
She's really hot.
Oh, she's hot.
Yeah.
She'd have to be at least an 8 for me to consider it.
Let's say, we'll call her a 9. Right?
Because no one's a 10. There's no such thing.
No. We're both going with yes at the moment.
Alright, continue. And then she just turns around and goes, "Look, I want to fucking piss on you, and then I want to shit on your chest." What do you do?
Whoa.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same
not.
thing.
No, it's not.
Why? What's the difference?
Well,
there?
because you can drink your own piss to survive in the
Yeah, but it's
in
not
the
your own
wild.
piss; it's her piss.
But I've never seen Bear Grylls eat his own shit. Do you know what I mean? I've missed that episode, if that's a thing.
Survivor dabbles.
No, but if she did push the boundary, so pissing on you's fine,
No
but
one's
shitting
shitting
on my
on me.
chest.
I would take being pissed on over shit anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you try anal for the first time, you get a little
But what's the difference?
nugget on the tip of your dick.
But what's
No,
the
because
difference?
that's accident. You can laugh about that. You
How's
can
it an
wipe it off
accident?
and start
You're
again.
sitting there going, "I want to bang you in the ass. I want to give you anal," and then
That's why you do it before dinner.
see, nah.
No, pissing and shitting's different.
I
Very.
really like the idea of someone listening to this podcast at the start. Oh, they're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, hang on, someone at the door walking away, and then nah, not banging them in the arse. you get shit on your dick. You don't want that. It's like, oh wow, I've got to watch that documentary.
Okay, so that's an accident, right?
Yes.
You can laugh that off.
Well, we can wipe it off as well.
Yeah. You disinfect your dick and all that sort of stuff. No, oh, maybe we shouldn't try that. But then, saying, yeah, shit on me, that's completely different.
No, she wants to do it.
No.
A piss on you is fine.
If it was at her place.
No, your place. You've met her. First time, you've gone out to a club.
God, that's a big step up for a first date.
Are we still saying so? No, I'm saying no to the shit.
All right. No, okay.
There's no shit.
You've
couldn't
never
do
gone
that.
out with her. It's the first time. You've met her in a club. You brought her home. And the first thing out of her mouth before you even got funky or anything, you kissed and all that sort of shit. But
Yeah.
before you even got funky, she goes, "I want to piss on you." What you'd go, "No problem."
Depends what she ate that day.
I know.
Drank.
You don't
She
know.
had asparagus. It'd smell like.
She had a kebab. Let's say she had a kebab.
Well, she have to have a mint first. Like garlic bread's killer.
All right.
Hang on, where's this going to take place? So she's like, we'll do it in the bathroom in the bath.
No, there's no. We're doing it. That's it. Doesn't matter where you end up. It could be in the kitchen. It could be in the bathroom. Could be
Okay,
in the...
bathroom, yes, not on my bed.
So you're specifically going to go, let's go to the bathroom. You can
Yeah.
piss on me there, but you can't piss on me in the bed. So,
What do you mean? What's the difference? I don't want to do my sheets after this. That's the same reason I don't like feet on my pillows.
Yeah, I don't like having the feet
That's
because of all the
fucking-
stuff that's on your feet.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
disgusting.
you don't do that
Yeah.
shit.
Feet
That's
are gross.
Yeah, that's even worse. Actually, I'd rather have them shit on my chest. Get your feet off my pillow!
No fungus here, bitch.
No, feet on the pillow is a deal breaker for me.
I've written the script in lockdown for a scat movie. It's called Shitty Shitty Bang Bang. Sorry. That's my new opener.
That's a
Shitty
new
Shitty
bit.
Bang Bang.
Oh, yuck. No.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting this talk today when we...
Sorry.
I used to work in porn.
What's it?
Yeah. Did I tell you that? Do you know this?
No.
So my graphic design job, one of my first jobs was designing and formatting the covers for pornography. That was it. That was like for 5 years. So that was interesting.
It's a hard job.
Yeah. Oh, it was a very strange job. One of the most interesting parts of it was there was a so you had an editing suite where they would edit the movies because they had to edit things that weren't allowed in them in this country. So if you got a German film, because you weren't allowed a lot of things that happened in Germany, they'd have to edit it out.
Or genocide.
That's a short movie.
Yeah. Jewish people is what I mean. They had to edit it out. So we had the edit suite, but you also had this room where people would just sit and watch the films all the day. That was their job. And they'd mark off. And it was all like these government documents that they had to mark off with, like at the 5 minute mark, he fists her. So they've got to like, well, we'll have to delete that because you're not allowed that in this country on the films. So they did all stuff like that. And these people, they would just be in this dark room, headphones on, just watching it all day, just writing down these notes. And it looked like, I mean, I guess for like, if you were like at uni, it sounds like the greatest job ever invented. But when you just see them like for one day working there, you go, this looks like it might be the worst job ever. But one day, one of the guys it was an Indian guy, came through and he's like, I just want to say bye to you all. Came through to the design department, lovely guy, and we're like, you're leaving? And he's like, yeah. I just finished my course, and I've been offered a job through my degree, so I'm going to go and do that. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm a doctor. Okay, well that's a step up. That's definitely a step up. Just watching that all day to going out and helping people. So there you go. He's a hero now, isn't he? That's what they are. The carers on the front line. It was firemen before, now it's the doctors. So
What a job.
yeah.
And mechanics.
Nah.
Yeah, but didn't they say that on the radio? What were you listening to?
Oh, yeah. I owe the public broadcast an apology. There was an ad that came on that was something like, thanks to all the tradies who have been keeping Australia going or something. It was like construction workers.
Yeah.
And I immediately got pissed off because every time I'm going through a construction site on the road, like roadworks and shit, they're not fucking doing anything.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's a stereotype for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, they don't do anything. And I may have had a rant to Benny that, where's a shout out for the mechanics, because we're still working, keeping these cunts on the road. And it was the very next day I was at work and there was an ad on the radio for like some oil company being like, thanks to all the Aussie mechanics keeping Australia moving and all this sort of shit. I was like, fuck. But
You're doing it. You're keeping us moving.
kinda.
So you're a hero as well.
We're not driving
Thank you.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just here for your logbook services, so you still get warranty. That's it. Yeah.
You're helping all those hot 9 women get to their boyfriend's house so they can piss on them. You're a hero, Geordie.
Or shit on their chest.
I'll have to start doing house calls. I think. Clean up as well.
So where did you start your?
Yeah, let's clean it up.
Let's clean it up.
Sorry, do you not like dirty stuff for this?
Oh no!
I just saw that you had Flemmo on, so I thought
Go nuts.
you had them on part 1, part 2. I figured they'll be fine. Where did I start comedy? I wanted to do it since I was 16,
Okay.
but I had this experience where I went and watched Jim Owen, Glenn Robbins, Bob Franklin. This was at the height of like the Jim Owen show.
Yep.
When it was on. I was like 15, 16. Very young, very new, no one ever heard of him, Dave O'Neill.
Yep.
And it was in front of like, it was in a theatre in St Kilda. It was packed. There would have been about 1,000 people there, maybe more. And it was brilliant. And then Dave O'Neill came on, and I've still to this day never seen a bomb as big as this bomb.
Oh shit!
And it scared the living shit out of me. Like just to have everyone at like fever pitch,
Yeah.
including myself and my brother and my mate who'd come to the show. We were in tears, and then this guy came on, and it was just absolute silence. And someone in the crowd, through all the silence, just shouted, "Get off your shit!" And you could see even like Dave O'Neill was just like, and tried to keep going. At the end of the show, all the comics apart from Dave O'Neill came out and did like a song together. And
That's brutal.
it was kind of terrifying for me to watch that, because I was just like, I wasn't a confident kid, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to do this. Never gonna. I wanted to do it, and I dream up sets, as I'm sure everyone does when they want to get into comedy. You think, oh, this is like, as you're going off to sleep, you're thinking of like a set and how it might go down or whatever. And I just continued to do that for the rest of my life until I grew a pair of balls when I was about 36, and just went out and started. Not when I was 36, I signed up to a course with the School of Hard Knock Knocks.
Yep.
I don't know. Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah,
or?
part of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. There you go. So I did the very first class.
Yep.
And I did it when I was 36. It was March. I did it with Gavin Semple was there. We all know Gav. I think he's the only one who can. Yeah, I think me and him are the only people who continue to do comedy from that.
Yeah.
And it was. I did that for a few days. I had it, and you do as you know, at the end of the 4 nights, you do the gig.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. Got up, I was terrified, like absolutely terrified. Got up, had fun doing that. And Gav, he went on. He just kept starting to go to open mics and stuff like that. And I was working full time at this stage, and I was kind of like, I'd love to go out, but I just. There used to be a room called King Kong Comedy, I think it was, on a Sunday.
Oh,
Do you
that rings
remember
a
that
bell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brunswick.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And because it was on a Sunday and it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I thought that's perfect for me, because I had a wife, 2 kids. I wanted to be home for them, so during the week didn't work, going out to do sign-ups. And that's the other thing, doing sign-ups didn't work for me because you wouldn't be getting up till like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I had work to get up to, and I also had a family to look after and stuff like that. So I always tried to go to this King Kong Comedy, and every week I'd say to someone, this is like for a year, every week I'd be like, this Sunday I'm definitely going. Just make sure you push me out the door and make me go to this thing. And I never did it. So it was like a year went by. We went to the UK for 2 months, just for like a holiday, taking my family around there. The kids had never been to where I was from and stuff like that. And while we were there, my wife said, I want to go back full-time work. And I said, yes, I want you to go back full-time work. Do you mind if I try working from home? She's like, that's fine. I said, I think I might be able to give comedy a bit more of a go if I do that as well.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, that's great. And we got back from the UK. I entered this competition called Funnier Than George, which was
no shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember that? This was the first time they ever did it.
Yeah.
So I was in this competition. It was at George's in Brunswick Street, or just off Brunswick Street, and I ended up winning that, and it was really pathetic, the win, because it was crowd vote, and it was the final, and that's where I met Mimi Shaheen for the first time. Some great Simon Carter, Luke Kidgel, Irvi Majumdar, I think there was some Raywin Pickering, all these people. Kaylee Christian was there. They were all on. There was no one in the audience, and these 5 people walked in off the street, and they were English. They were backpackers, and purely because of that, they went for me. Like, they voted for me just because I had because everyone did pretty well, but they voted for me, so I won that, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Maybe it means something. It didn't. And then that's when I started doing open mics and stuff. So I don't while I started at the course, I didn't do anything for a full year until the next year. So it's been 4 years when I did that initial gig, but I didn't really get into it. So it's like been like 3 years, and it's coming up 4 years next year. So that's kind of how it started. And yeah, it's definitely, you meet some interesting people, man, as I'm sure you guys are well aware. Yeah. You've had most of them on here.
Lovely people. Everybody that's been on here has been very accommodating, very lovely, and very nice.
Interesting's good.
Yes.
Interesting.
Don't fucking.
Well, you don't want people that just what they call it, vanilla these days. I don't know. You guys know about shitting chests and pissing and shit. That's what they call it, vanilla.
Yeah, that's all it takes to be interesting, guys.
Just get out of missionary.
Just talk about water sports and Jeffrey Epstein, and that's it. We did get dark at the start, didn't we? We did start dark.
At the start. It might come back around. Who knows?
No, it always comes back around.
It does come back.
That's how we operate.
Yeah.
But your kids, they watch YouTube. I can't have them seeing that their dad's a crepe, and he hangs out with crepes. This wallpaper's amazing, though, man. I know we spoke about it off air. Is that what we say, off air? That's pretty professional. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. This has got to be the coolest wallpaper. There is I've seen so many of my heroes up here, it's not funny.
Just never use a blue light on this wall.
Who's got the most jizz on their face? Pryor?
Yeah. It just... I'm looking at this wall in a completely different way now that I know that all of them are dead except for Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
It must be. It must also be weird, we're here with comedy legend so and so, and then you've got this in the background. Actually,
no, but these are the ones that I grew up with. So these are all the ones that I've seen, watched.
Well, Tommy Cooper is one of my favourites.
Yeah, Tommy Cooper's good.
Of all time.
He fucking died on stage.
Yeah, I know. Have you
What
watched
was
it?
that?
Yeah. I know there was another guy that died recently on stage in the UK in the last 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, Incognito, I think his name is.
Yeah.
But
heart attack or something, or
yeah. But this was on not just in front of. This was on TV as well, live TV.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't a variety.
Yeah,
it was full on show. And they thought he was because he used to take the piss like that, drag around, and he just hit it. You could just see him just limp.
Yeah.
And they thought, he's just doing the whole. I'm fucked, but you can actually see his body just fucking curl over. Shit. It's freaky shit, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, fuck.
Well, this is, so it's a hot 80s woman comes out.
Yeah.
And starts to help him with his costume, which is part of the act.
Yeah.
And he does this little look as if to the audience of saying, oh, she's alright, like that. And people start giggling at that. And then she walks off, and as she walks off, he collapses. And everyone's response is they're pissing themselves because they think he's passed out because of how he's fainted from how beautiful this woman is, but he's not, and he's struggling to get her up, and he's grunting, and people are laughing at that even more. He's killing, he's absolutely killing. And then suddenly they used to have this thing on the TV. I don't know if they have it over here. They used to be in the UK. Whenever they were going to cut to an ad, you'd have these little stripes that appear in the corner of the TV, a little square, just at the top right. And there'd be these stripes that would just start moving, and that meant there was a break coming up. It was an ad. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if it was for people at home or for people in the industry or whatever, but that would happen, and it popped up because they were like, "Fuck, cut to a break. We've got to cut to a break." And then this curtain came down, and then it was kind of like, "Oh, was that?" You could see people were laughing, but kind of like, "Is that it? Is that his act? That wasn't. Used to be better than this." And then they went back to it, and they said. The sorry, it's been complications. You have to be taken to the hospital. But on with the show, and on they went with the live
fuck.
show. Yeah, but it's quite. There's also something quite poetic, I guess, in him. You know, it's like a golfer dying as they get a hole in one or something like that.
Yeah,
Like this is he died while listening to people just laughing.
Yeah, fuck.
Like he was destroying. So it's it's very strange.
That's
Very-
brutal.
It's on. You can find it online. It's a very strange watch. But yeah,
But they're all legends.
yeah. Are they ever? It's brilliant.
Yeah.
When did you do this? May I ask?
Oh, probably 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it was just literally just doing it on the computer and basically picking out the photos I wanted, and like I was a big Carry On
Yeah.
fan, and then
Sid James and
yeah, love that stuff. But that's what I grew up with, Lewis and all that. And, it was actually quite funny. I was in, where was I? I think we were in somewhere in Europe. Anyway, I can't remember, either Austria or something like that. And we were in a hotel, and when Robin Williams died, and it was funny because it just sort of like I love this guy. Like, I mean, I loved his shit, And then it's just like the whole day I was down. I actually cried. Like, I didn't know the guy, but it was just like, fuck, he's dead. And then it's just like, fucking hell. And I reckon, fucking, I just bawled out crying about, fucking. I didn't even know him, but it was just weird. You sort of felt that connection because he'd always make you laugh, and just the stupid shit he'd get up to. And that. But they're all legends.
The Robin, I remember reading this thing. I don't know why someone even wrote this, but it was about how he killed himself.
Yeah.
And this isn't true. This isn't how he did it. But they were saying this is how he did it. And when I read it, I was like, that makes sense. That's hilarious. And what they said was he filled the air, the room he was in, with helium, and that's how he killed himself. And I thought at the time that's kind of quite. It's very dark, but it's quite funny to think that the people who find you would burst in and they'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like their voice would be like, "What have you done?" It'd be really high.
Actually, though?
No, well, I saw that and I was like, "Fuck, is that for real? That's hilarious if it's true."
No, didn't he die from the belt thing?
Yeah, I don't think it was that at all.
Order.
Yeah.
Is that how he did it?
Yeah.
That's a way to go.
But the irony to that was when he did that movie with that kid, his son died in that movie. That was the playing that self-asphyxiation, and he killed himself. And Dad was trying to, he basically said he didn't die from jerking off and tying the belt on himself. He actually died. Just had a stroke or some shit and died. And he was trying to hide it. And then they found out that it wasn't, that he actually did this. And then he ended up killing himself that way. And it was just like, fuck, a reality meets art meets reality thing. It's just like, oof, jeez.
Yeah, Bicentennial Man was a strange film.
No.
That wasn't that one.
No, it was that one. I can't remember what it was. Actually, he actually did. It was one of his later ones.
Okay.
I'm not sure what it was fucking called.
He was in some bad movies.
It wasn't a great movie.
No, he wasn't in many great movies though. Anyway.
My favourite movie of his was Club Paradise. I love that movie.
Yeah, that was good.
I think I've seen that.
I can watch that over and over again. It's just that it's just stupid. It had what was his name? The old guy. Not Burton. Fucking. I can't remember his name now. Jeez. No, I've lost now.
Did you ever see One Hour Photo?
Yeah, that was creepy.
Being in media, you guys?
Yeah. Saw that. It was the.
Pretty fucked up.
I mean, you don't have that now, do you? The photo booth guy.
He's done some
Developing
dark
pictures.
shit. He did some dark movies.
He was in Insomnia with Pacino.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, he was a serial killer in that as well, wasn't he?
And it's just weird how it all went that way. But oh well.
Dead Poet Society. That's always a favourite of mine.
I didn't enjoy that actually.
Oh, it's not his greatest comedy film.
No, but I mean,
it's
no, it wasn't a comedy, but I didn't enjoy the movie.
Don't get me wrong, it was hilarious when the guy killed himself. That was brilliant. But the rest of the film, it was a struggle. The punchlines just didn't hit.
Yeah, I can't do sad movie. I've
No.
never seen that. No. Life's too shit.
You can do the Epstein documentary, but not the.
Well, no,
sad
it's just
movies.
like no, that like that stuff's not in my world. I don't understand any of it. So it's like, okay, what the fuck? What was the big deal with that guy? Like, because I heard his name come up. I was like, who the fuck was Jeffrey Epstein? So I watched that. But like, you know, sad. Okay, so sad documentary, I'll watch.
Yeah.
Because I think that's it. Well, documentaries are meant to be educational and all that sort of shit. But then sad drama movie, which is just some sad story that some cunts come up with. Don't see the point.
So more Frozen. Let it flow.
I don't have kids.
Let it go. Let it flow's the
Fuck.
Let it flow's the water sport one.
Oh,
That's,
so that's the video he lent me.
Can't do that when it's frozen.
Frozen. Yeah.
Pissing on people wouldn't be very popular in Iceland.
Frozen is watching porn in the early 2000s online. That's what Frozen is. That's like,
what a waste of time.
Work.
Yes. Magazines were superior for a long time.
Were they ever?
Yeah.
But getting back to comedy, I've got an apology to offer to you, Benny, because we did a gig, and I went on after, and I wasn't having a dig, and I said, "Oh, that guy didn't know how to use a microphone." It was something like that, and I felt, and it was fun. It got a laugh, and that's why I did it, because I was desperate, and I'm just a whore for laughs. And you know what? What I should have done is I should have spoke to you straight after, just to let you know that I wasn't having a go.
Don't stress.
And
you're on my list.
No, that's why I'm here. And now he's doing a shit on my chest. There you go.
Here we go.
Oh wow, that's brilliant. What else have you got on there? Boing.
No.
Yeah. I should have, because I didn't have someone do that to me, but I had, there's nothing worse than a comic. Again, I don't know if it might have felt like to you that I was giving you shit, but I wasn't.
Nah,
at all. But I've thought about it every day, so not every day. I thought about it just before I got here. And
I reckon he's heard it in one of the podcasts. I think we mentioned it in one of the podcasts. But anyway,
have you spoken about it?
I think we have.
Have I been mentioned on this podcast before?
I think we did.
You have at one point.
Yeah.
Not. I don't know if it was 100% in that
I
way.
want him on. Nah, fuck him. I want him dead. That guy's never working Melbourne again.
I'm waiting, like one of your questions soon will be, if you could kill anyone, Matt, on the scene, who would it be? And that's like, that's where I've been mentioned before. That makes sense.
No. It was in a
If I want to
positive
use
way.
my toilet, there's plenty of plastic in there.
No,
you guys started the plastic shit. I'm just fucking going with it now.
No, yeah. So that's because I think like especially with open mic and stuff like that, there's a great especially because like you hang around. A lot of people don't hang around. I'm someone who doesn't hang around, and it's never because I have to go to another spot. I can't. I did it once. I did one night. It was actually I rushed over to do your room.
Yeah.
And then I had to do Lucky Cock as well. I did 3 in one night. Yeah. And I just didn't have fun rushing around. Yeah, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. I'll just do one a night. Yeah. Unless it's directly across the road from each other, I'll just do 1 gig a night. The reason I go off home is because I like to get back to my wife and kids and stay in isolation. Keep that going.
And he abuses the other comics and he doesn't want to get hurt, so it's like
I've got to get out of there. I've got to get the fuck out of there.
Just a drive-by.
Is that piece of shit who was on before still here, Jordan? I've got to get out of here, man.
Could you imagine Gavin fucking trying to get out to him? This is what happened on Veal, I can't.
But it's a great opportunity to like hang around and say, hey man, because honestly, like there was a I should have said this to you after is, like what you're doing with the shouting. That's different. There's no one that angry on the scene. I don't think, is there? No, but
I love it.
This is just like me giving some. Like, it's not even advice. I'm not in a position to give advice, but just have you thought about go up there, leave the mic in the stand, talk. When you shout, walk away from it. And now the reason obviously that's for a sound thing, but also because you're not holding the mic, you're not tethered to the stage, and that'll have everyone in the audience on edge because it's like, this cunt could come out. He's not even using a mic now. This cunt could come right out here. And one of the great things of comedy is having the audience on knife edge, having them, because then when you hit a punchline and they realise you're not coming out to them, it's almost like this. It's a bigger laughter because it's just like this. Like, oh my god, thank God he's gone back to the mic. Thank God. Yeah, it's funny, man. It's funny to stay up there. For the love of God, don't come near us. But I think there's something you could definitely explore with that. There you go. Just giving out advice for free and apologising at the same time because I shouldn't have done that.
Take your apology. It's all good. Don't stress.
Yeah.
But this is the whole thing. I mean,
It's funny though.
and also you learn from stuff like that.
Yeah, completely.
We've talked about it. I mean, you know, and then, you know, it was too loud. Even Jared.
Yeah, Jared was on the sound.
Jared goes,
like, oh,
I've never worked so
fuck.
hard. I've never worked a sound desk so hard in my life. But it also teaches me shit and teaches me how to sort of slow down. I'm new to this shit too. So.
But that's the problem is I did it as a joke, as if like you were someone like Geordie or Jared, who I know pretty well within. When I say know well, I don't know jack shit about you, but you know, as in we've seen each other around for a while now.
Enough,
That they know that I would be joking, but I realised that night I hadn't met you before. In fact, I didn't even meet you that night. It was just as we were walking past each other.
This is the first time we've ever met. Hi.
How you doing, man?
Welcome to my podcast.
I always thought you were a cunt, man, but it turns out you're an alright guy. You're a hell of a guy.
But speaking of shows, you've notched up some pretty fucking good shows under your belt.
Yeah. It's because I'm pretty good, Geordie.
Monty is definitely your best quality, but
He's like, he's pretty cocky as well.
I'm waiting for the when Matt turns around, move that fucking mic back a couple of inches anyway.
just a few that I've seen you at. Like I've seen you at King's, seen and that one at what's his name? Ian McCarthy's one.
Ben McCarthy.
Yeah.
Ben, not Ian. Two very different people. Yeah, that's all right.
How do you remember
Neither
them
of
all?
them.
I get introduced to so many people. I'm just like, fucking, I don't know who that person is.
Nah, it's a fat cunt, skinny cunt. Fat cunt, skinny cunt.
No, but you guys do. Like you're like, oh, yeah, it's this guy from fucking
Ben
this room,
McCarthy.
and I'm just like,
Yeah, Ben.
Jesus.
Yeah, you fucking nailed that gig, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, no, I've done the best one was Steve Hughes. Opening for Steve Hughes was at the
Tell us about that.
yeah, it was great. The most exciting part of that probably whole experience was just being asked. Do you know what I mean? Because there was the night that he asked, I was at home just watching TV with the missus, and I got a message from Steve saying, "Do you have 20 minutes?" And I thought he meant like for a phone call. I was like, what for? You know, do you have 20 minutes of material? And I was like, well, like what's this? Like what's it for? Like, you know, for what? He's like, I want you to open for me at the Athenaeum. And I was like, look, I don't have 20 minutes, but when is this? And he said that's going to be in April, and it was like 6 months before it. I was like, and look, if you said it was tomorrow, I'd just have 20 minutes. It wouldn't be good, but you know, I'll do it. Like, yes, you know. And he's like, all right, great, 20 minutes. Make sure you got 20 minutes by April. And that was the best moment of it all, because after that, I didn't really hear from him, speak to him, and as the months went by, you kind of thought, well, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because for that moment in time, Steve Hughes wanted me to open for him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's because he'd been to King's and he saw me a couple of weeks earlier, and apparently really enjoyed it, and that was the reason. And I was like, that's all. That's good. And like, you know, I can show that message to the grandkids just so they believe at one stage it happened. But it ended up happening, and I think it was like a week out. It wasn't even confirmed till a week out. And then that's when, like, that's the most nervous I've ever been for a gig. But it's great, like you said, the learning experience from that, and also I haven't been as nervous for a gig since because of it, because it was such a big thing to be thrown into. So yeah, that was really cool, man. It was an awesome night. I had a really good one. I was kind of like walked off thinking, fuck, I killed that, that's great. Beat that, Steve. And then he went on, and then you're like, oh wow, this is what it sounds like when you have 1,000 fans who come to watch you, because it was just a whole different level of, like, just wave after wave of laughter, you know what I mean? And that's how it felt. It was huge. But it was, such an amazing experience. For the first 10 minutes of Steve's spot, when he, like, you know, I actually got to introduce him, not like off stage.
Yeah.
So on his DVD, you can hear me saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Hughes," and he walks out just with this, you know, rapturous acclaim. I nicked upstairs and had a shit because I was desperate for a shit because I was so, you know, like a nervous shit. And I can never do it, and because there's people around, but because everyone, like all the crew and everything, were down at stage side. There was no one around, and I just sat in peace for 10 minutes and did the biggest shit whilst listening to the guy crush. Just waves and waves of laughter just in the background, like, because I couldn't hear, like, it's muffled, but he's like, it was really bizarre at the Athenaeum.
Could you imagine he's gone up for his shit, right? And he's still got the mic and he's singing and that's all they're laughing at. This is hilarious. And you're like, he's killing it. Fucking Steve's killing it.
That's incredible.
This is there'll be when I watch the actual DVD when he releases it, I'll be like, yeah, I was part of this. Oh, good God. Big part of it. Listen to this damn cunt, he's still got the microphone.
Are you going to be on the DVD? Is it out yet, or?
No, I don't think I think it's just still in editing or something like that. Because I know they had an issue with the last. So this is I always feel bad. I wonder if it's my fault. I'm not sure. So they said 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then on the night he said, 15, 16. I was like, that's great, because all I really had was 15, 16 minutes. I was hoping that the laughter would be able to pad it out to 20. Or, and this is a great tip for anyone doing comedy, I think, is, you know, if they say to you, have you got 10 minutes? And you just say yes. But if you've only got 5, just go and do the 5. And if you kill with that 5, the guy's not going to care who asks you to do 10 minutes, because it's like 5 minutes of killing is better than 10 minutes of just, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So they said to me before I went out, look, at the end of your spot, and this was the weird thing, because normally I'll just go like, good night, walk off. I had to do good night. Right, if I can just have your attention for a minute, here's a few house rules, because they were filming the night. You know, everyone just stay in your seats at all time, and they wanted everyone to stay in the seats. As soon as as soon as I walked off, I was going to bring Steve on, because they had the cameras rolling, because they filmed mine, and then they were going to film Steve's, and also they only had the Athenaeum booked for however many hours it was, so they were on a tight schedule. And I said to everyone, stay in your seats, blah 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 blah. The lights were on in the. This is what made it even more petrifying for me, was they had the lights on the audience turned up. Ooh. So normally it's darkness, and you can see a couple of the front row. I saw every fucking face, man, just staring at you. Jeez. And I was heckled in the first 30 seconds. I'll tell you that in a minute. But so yeah, everyone just, you know, sit down and just Steve's coming straight on. Thank you very much. You've been great, and, you know, really, like, you know, lift the roof off because it's being filmed. Everyone's like, yay! Everyone gets up and fucks off, and I walk off and I'm like, no, we don't want to go, because they're all going queue for drinks now again, and now this kicks in, the time goes longer. So what happened with Steve's filming was the last 2 minutes, the sound switched off. There's no sound. They had the sound recorded on the cameras, but not the whatever. It ran out of space or something like that.
Oh, no.
So he had to go in and overdub, using the sound from the cameras, and also overdub that last joke, lip syncing with. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out, because apparently it's seamless and it looks perfect. But the troubles behind it were that,
Will he? So it'll be DVD, or will he have like a Stan, Netflix, or something like this?
Nah, DVD. I don't think he's done a stand thing. I think he not in this country, because for some reason they're too frightened to put him on. But
he killed in UK and shit. Like he was.
Well, he's there now.
Yeah, that's why he moved back.
Yeah, he's gone there to move back, and then this has all happened. And he's been stuck inside ever since. He was supposed to be touring right now in May. I was actually supposed to be there doing some gigs with him, but and to see my nana, but that's all gone as well. So it's a bit of a kind of a thing, but it's timing, which is what comedy's all about, I guess. But yeah, that was an amazing experience. But I enjoy every gig I do, man. Like open mic or wherever. I've got to a point now where I walk in and I just look to have a good time. Yeah, but you're seamless. I've got to be honest with you, man. Every time I watch you, I'm just like, these cunts. You intimidate me. Like every time you're on stage, you intimidate me. Not like this. I could kill you at any point in time. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's a joke. Yeah. It's a joke. Stop ducking. Stop fucking ducking. No, but I mean, every time I see you, like, and for a newbie or whatever you want to call me, it's like you sort of see some people just they do that seamless thing, you know, and you're just like, fuck. How do you follow that? How do you get, how do you get that? That's just a nerves thing, though, man. Yeah. Because I think if you go up there and you own it, it doesn't. There was a gig I did out in Castlemaine, and it was in the town hall. Yep. It was me, Johnny Katz, and Richard Stubbs was headlining. Shit, that'd be cool. You'd think so. It was a 200. The place fit 200 people. Yeah. There was 15 people there. It's just before Christmas gone. What? 15 people, so we just had 2 rows at the front, spread out, of 15 people. Again, maybe it was just isolation before it was cool, man. You know, they were nailing it already, but just 15 people and big stage. You were stood on a big stage and they were sat down, so I was on first, which was the fucking worst. And it was the worst because it was like me and Cats are there, and the guy running it's like, who wants to go on first? I'm like, come on, Johnny, you've got to go on first. Like, I'm thinking, like, you're the bigger man here, you've been doing it longer, you can handle this, you go on first, get more, come on, Johnny. Just in my head. And he's like, yeah, I'll go on second. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. So I go on first, and the first thing I did was took the mic out the stand and just jumped down onto the ground level with them. And I shook the hand of everyone there, and I'm walking around shaking the hand, and I get to this woman on the end. This was stupid. But I shook her hand, and she's from Ireland. And I'm like, oh, you're from Ireland. Well, you know, which one? Which part? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, you're a Catholic or Protestant? And she's like, oh, I shouldn't have mentioned that at all. And she's like, Protestant. I'm like, oh, I'm Catholic. Sorry, fuck off. Or something like, something stupid. And her boyfriend, who was drunk and is from London, he was a Cockney. He goes, you can't fucking say that to my missus. You can't. And he starts. Anyway, he did not shut up throughout my whole thing, and it was really awkward. I ended up like, oh, this is a really big auditorium, isn't it? And I ran round singing "Do They Know It's Christmas Time?" just in circles. There's video footage of it. It's really uncomfortable. Like the audience are just like, what the fuck is this? And I'm just running round and round saying, "Do they know it's Christmas time?" And then I ran out the auditorium and just like, good night, and then just kept on running and handed the mic to Johnny, who was waiting at the door, and it's just silence. Anyway, Johnny goes on, starts doing this thing, and that English guy keeps going and going. Someone in the audience, this big bouncer, like he works as a bouncer, we found out later on, stood up and just said, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to come over there and shut you the fuck up. And the guy got thrown out. So the audience of 15. It's the first time I've been somewhere where like there's someone's been thrown out for violent behaviour. Yeah. But there was fucking 15 people there. Yeah. That was one of the strangest gigs. And I tell you, when you do gigs like that, that's again you learn a lot. It's just licking my. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, old friends. We are old friends. That's right. We both have hairy faces.
So what happened when you did Steve's gig? Someone heckled you 30 seconds in?
Someone. I did my first joke, which went like as fine as I hoped it could. Like I was like, that's all right. And someone in the silence, just in that very short silence between the laughter dying down and going into your next joke, just shouted out, "Bring Steve on!"
Oh.
Like they just found the perfect time to shout out so every fucker heard it. And some people were like, like that. And I was just like, and I don't normally, I wasn't, and this maybe it's something I've learned from that, but I was just like, come on man, that first one was alright. And I said, I've got people here from Channel 31 tonight thinking of giving me my own show. I've got people from YouTube thinking of giving me my own channel here tonight. So how about for the next 5 minutes you shut the fuck up? And the everyone just went, yeah. And it was from that moment on I was just like, oh thank fuck, this is going to be alright. Yeah. I've got them all, apart from that guy. And that's how I finished the gig saying, you've all been brilliant, apart from that cunt. And again, the people are cheering, like they just really didn't. We live in a country that loves the underdog, man, and that's where I completely am and was, and they really got on board with it. So yeah, it was cool.
Oh, awesome.
It wasn't that cool, sorry, but it was cool that the response from the audience was that way. Because at that moment in time, I was just like, "Fuck, so early, man!" Like at least listen to a couple more, and then if you think they're shit, I'll hold my hands up and say, you know what, this isn't, you're not into it, that's fine, everyone, I'll fuck off, and I would have just done 5 minutes and got Steve on, so that, because they paid for this. Yeah. But
wow,
that was weird, wasn't it?
But it's awesome when you learn. This is the thing; they're all learning. All the stuff's learning. I mean, everything you see, you pick up. It's all learning, and it's how you take it. Some people, if you're going to get offended by everything,
well, Steve Hughes' gig's not for you.
No, but just in general, like even in comedy, just generally, if you're going to get offended by some cunt saying something, or you know what I mean, if you can't take it as an advice or anything, it's fucking defeats the purpose. Like they're all learning curves, I think, anyway.
I think, look, you can. I know at the Comics Lounge and Kings and stuff like that, there'll be. These people are paying money to see the show, and there'll be instances where the owners will get complaints about someone that's been on, and I guess they have a duty to perhaps address it to an extent. Yeah. But when it's a free show, when we're open micers and we're trying shit out, and Geordie, do you get people coming to you and complaining about shit, or
I had one once.
Like what? Other comics, or
Benny complained about one of my sets once.
I thought it was Benny complaining about this guy talking about using the microphone. I thought it didn't matter, Benny. I thought
I was
we were over
setting you up for that. I was like,
no, I had a girl complain.
I'm talking about comedy. Your room. I'm sure
she complained about the room. I've had many complaints in different areas. Thank you, Matt, for bringing that up. Usually about my personality, nothing else. But I had a full night. The Death of Glory was like one of the second ones we had where it like packed out like 50 odd people, and everyone was enjoying themselves. Like I couldn't get back to where the little sound desk is where I normally stand. Like where you stand is where I normally stand up the back.
where you heckle from that point?
Where I think, where I watch the person who's on before me thinking, how can I fuck this guy? What can I say about this cunt?
The judgmental spot. I was crouched down in front of the speakers. You know how we got the fence on the stage and all that sort of shit. And I was crouched down there under one of the speakers. Because I couldn't get back to the sound desk. And I left my fucking notepad up there, so I didn't know who was on next. And it was fucking bad. So like, but everyone, fire hazard, if you will. And I couldn't get back to the stage. And I looked around, I'm like, fuck me, everyone is just like, every comic was just fucking nailing it. Everyone was in the palm of their hand sort of thing. I was like, this is one of the best nights I've ever been a part of, apart from seeing like Dave Chappelle and stuff. And I'm like, this is fucking nuts. Everyone's oh, hang on, they don't look like they're enjoying themselves. And Tyson Popplestone gets up. And he does a bit, and he's talking about school, he's a teacher or something, and he's talking to two people in the front row, and then talks to these two people, and they're like, he goes, what, don't you speak English? And someone cuts in and goes, no, they're Dutch. So they weren't enjoying themselves because they couldn't understand the fucking thing, they were just a bunch of backpackers who came in.
Right.
And I was like, okay, alright, two out of 50 isn't bad, that's fine, that's a good fucking strike rate. And then at the end of the night, this girl comes up and I'm chatting to Garage at Harlem, Dan Kappa. I hadn't seen him in weeks, and can have a drink and stuff, and I won't get into all the details of this story, but basically she came up and she goes, excuse me, you Geordie? I was like, yeah. And she goes, can I grab you for a second? I was like, oh, that's usually Dan's job, but yeah, sure, we can have a chat. I thought that was funny. And she goes, looks at me up and down and goes, huh, funny. I was like, oh, are you serious? Yeah, sure, let's grab a seat. And she complained about John Dawes' set, my set, and someone else's, and she was like, oh, do you condone violence against women and all this sort of stuff? I was like, what? No, what are you talking about? So she walked...
Fuck off, bitch.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen John... We need to get him on, but I don't know if you've seen John Dawes' bit where he's talking about how Netflix is basically teaching you how to get away with murder. Like, just don't jizz everywhere. Like, that's the punchline of the story. So, like, he reckons all these crime shows are basically telling people how to kill people.
Right. I don't think I've seen John a lot.
Yeah. I think he only did it for a little bit, but...
Okay. Some people kept complaining.
Yeah, maybe. It's a fucking funny bit. But same as most jokes, you have to see it start to finish to actually get what the fuck is going on. Like, that's a good joke. Like, you can't just walk halfway through and like,
John's great.
That's an obvious punchline. That's not funny. But like, so she walked in halfway through his bit and thought that he was condoning, you know, like, Netflix teaches you how to kill women, like, you know, get on board sort of thing. So I had to explain to her that it was all jokes and stuff, and she ended up stalking me for about 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stalking means dating, but anyway.
No, never slept with her, never, no.
Didn't say you slept
she
with
ended
her.
up rocking up at all my gigs, stalking me and shit. It was fucking weird. Yeah.
What's her name?
Gemma something, I can't remember.
Gemma.
It's not
You
really
can stalk me if you want.
No, you don't want that. No, I do not want that.
Can't stalk in isolation, can you? Do you mean just like social media stalk?
No, she came to about 6 of my gigs. Like, she'd see where I was performing and stuff, and she'd rock up and
A notepad.
yeah, she questioned me on
What did she not like that you did? What were you talking about?
the dating. It's old as fuck now, but like the dating one, where I top off a Tinder profile with you know, to keep up to date with you know, Netflix and chill sort of culture. You know, I finished a bio off with Gillette Advocate on the streets, but Ted Bundy in the sheets. She fucking hated that. I had to explain to her, I'm like, look, that only exists because, you know, there was a movement and, you know, Netflix had to explain, ladies, calm the fuck down. Just because Zac Efron's playing him doesn't mean he's a sex symbol. So, you know, I blame women for that joke. And if that didn't happen, that joke wouldn't exist.
Women and black people, the worst.
Jeez. What about your worst bomb? Before we finish this up, what was your worst bomb?
Does this count? No, that's no, I've been killing it. Worst bomb. Yeah, there was the. Do you know what I have had bombs. I don't want it to sound like you think I'm about to say I don't bomb. But what I learned pretty quick was it's how you deal with a bomb during, while you're on stage and off.
Yeah.
So like that thing I was telling you about in Castlemaine, that was horrendous.
Yeah.
Like that, there was lots of shit going on around that. 15 people there.
Yeah.
This drunk guy going on and on. The Protestant stuff, I probably shouldn't have brought that up. Thousands of years of history of hate.
A couple songs and
Yeah, it was all that, but I really had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So is it a bomb if you're having fun? Because I think bombs when you're really not enjoying it.
Yeah, nah, when you walk off and
a bomb is like when you want to quit comedy. The next day and
Yeah.
yeah.
And that happened at this was like, geez, two and a bit years ago at Dirty Secrets. This is before Gavin Semple ran it, and there was these other people running it. I didn't find it to be that welcoming. I'd just done a gig at Highlander. Again, this is before Kieran Butler was running Highlander. This was Adam Jacobs, who's a lovely guy. But there was like 4 people at the gig, and there was 4 people with the comics who were on.
Yeah.
And you know, you go out on a Wednesday night, driven into the city, found a spot, did Highlander to 3 people because I was now on stage, and you're just like the whole time thinking, why am I doing this? Got in the car, I might go and try Dirty Secrets. Drove to Dirty Secrets, signed up, waiting, like they just kept pushing me back and back, and that's fair enough. They didn't know who I was, but I'm kind of like this. Maybe
no, it's not. It's a fucking power trip.
It is a little bit, because friends would come in and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we'll put you on next." Do you know what I mean? Like I would know. I mean, even my mates at Gorilla do that. They'll put someone would come in. This particular, they don't do it anymore, but he would come in and they'd be like, "Matt, do you mind if we just put this guy in before we put you on?" They're like, "Yeah, I don't care. Like that's fine." But if I was that guy, I wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
Like if I walked into a room and they were all like, "Fuck, we're going to put you on before, you know, we'll just put you, because you walked in, we're just going to put you on." I'd be like, no, just tag me on at the end.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Like I think it's kind of shit. But I went to 36, waiting, went up, did my spot to 2 audience members, and then the rest were the comics waiting to go on. It got nothing. It was probably a bit full on. I used to do this joke about accidentally killing my wife, and I think people sometimes took it to mean that I killed her, like murdered her and raped her, but it was actually a sex act gone wrong, terribly wrong kind of thing. And anyway, I walked off the stage, and the guy, and this is why I was apologising to you before, because this guy, although this guy was giving me shit, he wasn't trying to have a laugh. This guy got up and he was like, "Well, yeah, it's all fine, guys, because I won't be murdering my wife like that guy. Like, who was that? You know, who was that dick? You know what I mean? Like, who was that piece of shit who was on?" Now the thing is, unlike what happened with you, I think, and you were probably laughing at it as well when I said it. This guy got nothing, and I just he got.
That's giving you the answer.
he got absolutely nothing, and I just thought, yeah, fuck you, man. Fuck you for picking on someone and like making me out to be like some sort of raping maniac, which I'm not. But it was a good. I actually like that joke as a joke. I stopped doing it because I think too many people weren't getting it, and I just thought I can't be bothered having it wasting. Anyway, I went from Dirty Secrets and I thought I've got to fucking get a win here, and I went to Gorilla and did the open mic there. I think you might have been emceeing the open mic section.
Yeah, I emceed a few.
Yeah, and maybe you weren't, but I walked on there and one person in the audience, and that was just shit as well again. And I just got in the car, drove home, and thought, I don't think, like, you know, I'm at an age now where I just kind of can't be bothered with this shit.
Yeah. There's a lot of politics. I mean, there's a shitload of politics.
There is a lot of politics, but I just like the idea that I wasn't getting the buzz that I was seeking, or it was to no audience members and stuff. And you know, comedy is a strange thing, man. You have a good gig, and you honestly think to yourself after the good gig, I know how to do this now. I've licked it.
You're always learning.
And then you go to the next gig and you do exactly the same you did the week before, and you're not getting as much as you did a week earlier, and you're like, oh.
But how do you find that? Like you were saying before about doing the 2 rooms in one night. How do you do that? I mean, that's pretty.
Lots of people do that. I mean, you'll know from running around. Can I go on early? It's a common thing because I've got to go off and do another gig.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not sure. Maybe there is. I think there's a great thing, a great ideal behind getting out there and doing as many spots as you want, because I guess you get comfortable with the stage.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot, I guess, to go up, do a spot, and if you haven't done so well, maybe hang around and see how other people go.
Yeah, I think that's the best feedback you can get.
Yeah, just to see, well, why is the guy that's gone on after me killing?
Yeah.
Why am I not? Is it? I did this gig. This was like probably just one of the other times I haven't enjoyed doing comedy, and that's why I'll call it not enjoying it. Is like a bomb, you know. Whereas it might be people might be like, "Oh, you did well there," but I didn't enjoy it. You saw me at King's once, and you came out and said that was great. I didn't enjoy it, so for me it was a bomb. Like there was 100 people there, and they were all laughing, but not as hard as I've heard them laugh before. In other nights, and also I didn't feel comfortable on stage, so that's for me is a bomb. I haven't enjoyed it. There was one night out in, it it was with Mark Oshko, who's fucking brilliant, out in the hills. I forgot the name of the place, but it's out towards the Dandenongs. We did this gig and everyone went on and smashed. Everyone. And there was some real shit comics on. Lovely people, real shit comics. But everyone was having, I'm not going to name names, everyone was having a great time. Every single person got up and smashed, and it felt like, this is going to be easy. I was there with Paul Sharplin. We were both sat watching it and we're just like, fuck, this is going to be... And he's like, you're going to have a great time. I'm like, you're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be great. And I walked up to the stage, you walked right down the middle past everyone, turned round, and as soon as I turned round, you could see all their faces. It was one of those things. I just felt like everyone hated me straight away. And I don't know if it was because of the way I was dressed, and then I started speaking, and it's like, an English guy. It just felt like I lost them just from the moment I turned around, from the way I looked. And I had a fucking shit gig. Like, it was terrible. And then the next person went up and smashed. So I was the only one who didn't smash. Again, it was probably alright, but it was just, I didn't smash. And I went home, drove all the way home from there, just thinking, I'm not doing this ever again. Next morning I woke up, it's the only time it's ever happened. I got a message on Instagram from someone, oh, we saw you at that gig last night, we fucking loved it. I'm like, well, maybe you could try fucking my thing. that would have helped a lot. You know, that might have got everyone else involved. I don't know, maybe try that. But so that kind of brightened it a little bit, but fuck me, man, it does, it's not fun bombing. It's not fun when it's like when everyone else is killing and you bomb. If everyone's bombing, if it's just one of those nights and you go up there and have a bad one, then who gives a shit? Like, I think that's where, especially for someone like yourself with the shouting and stuff, go even harder. What have you got to lose? If every motherfucker's bombing, what have you got to lose?
They're kind of fun, those gigs though. Like, that reminds me of Werribee that we did when the broke out all fight and stuff like that. That like kind of makes you all feel like, we are on the same team. Like we we try and get a laugh, because if you break him in, I'll have a better set. And if I do well, you'll have a better set. All that sort of shit. It's kind of a fun challenge, that. But it fucking sucks getting up and you're the one who does shit. That fucking hurts.
Or get heckled by other comedians on doing their set. But it's okay, we're all friends in this room.
Who's done that? There are some people that heckle. I didn't heckle you during your set, though. No.
I fucking hate it when comics heckle during sets.
That's awful.
No, I've had Tony do that to me.
Who's Tony? Sorry,
Tony Magnuson.
Oh yeah, Tony. Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, okay, are you coming down to Gorilla? Were you there that day?" No, you were there.
I only met Tony recently, to be honest. Like, I only started seeing him here and there, but Evan was on. Evan was on that day. And anyway, I got up and I struggle at Gorilla. Fucking like, I can't. They're so close to me, you know. Like
you can see all their faces.
Yeah, they're just there. And
that's what I love about it.
And it's funny because, like, towards 2018, that's when I sort of got into the comedy, wanted to do the comedy, and I kept going to Gorilla. That's the only place I knew. So I'd go there and Paul would go, "Get up. Come on, get up." And I'd be like, "No, it's all right, mate." And I used to go to my mate, and he thought, and it was funny, we had him on the podcast, and he goes, "I thought you were a fucking cop." You know, because we just sit there, I just wanted to watch, just take it all in. And he just kept saying, I would just write shit in my book, and like, right, fucking, you gotta work on that, and look at that, you know. And he's thinking like I'm just jotting shit down from, like I'm still, you know, bloody, what's the word, fucking, undercover, staking the place out.
Columbo.
But yeah, and I was doing a gig there, and then it was, you know, started off, and then that first wave of that crowd hit me, and I just went, and I went, all right. I had a couple of laughs, and it was just like, and I sort of lost my way because I was just, I think too much air went into the head, man. I was just like, fuck this. And I was just like, I'm done. And I just sort of, why don't you finish on that bit? Tony yells out. Oh, and I just went off. And I was just like, Tony, fuck, don't do that, mate.
What's going on there? Yeah, what's going on, man?
I'm teaching you. It was a I'm teaching you moment, you know. But it is what it is.
You're sick of people teaching you, aren't you?
But this is the thing. I love all that.
This cunt's teaching me again.
I love it because it's like you learn from that stuff, man. I mean,
well, people want to teach you because you're likable.
you know.
Yeah, I don't think many people would give you advice if they didn't give a fuck about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I've had some great people talk to me, and like, you know, Glenn Zen, fucking.
Glenn's a wonderful man.
He's an awesome guy. Like, you know, we sat around, we talked, and you know, and he gives you advice, and it's all stuff that you sort of take in, and go, okay, you can use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. You know, whatever. But
Funny at the Brunny. Did you guys do Funny at the Brunny when it was Funny at the Brunny, not near the Brunny, or?
No, that's way before my
Okay, well, Funny at the Brunny, I only got to do it a couple of times before it changed. Well, three or four times. But Funny at the Brunny was a great gig for anyone starting, because not only would he give you a chance, but he ran it like a pro room.
Yep.
So it'd also give you a little insight to if you know you were to make it to the lounge or wherever. It's this is how you've got to stick to time. You've got to do it. You've got to get there at the start of the gig. Yeah. Everyone, he'd do this huddle. He still does the huddle, but he'd do that early on. Work out the set like the list for the night, and it was quite an experience just for someone starting out. Say, all right, so this is what they do. Okay, this is how it is. This is and if you go over time, he'd be on you. Whereas now it's kind of like it's a lot looser because of where it's at, and I love his room regardless.
So yeah,
but it'll be cool if they can get it open again and back there, because he really give you like a little insight into what things will be like at the other rooms. So
it's awesome. It's awesome to see it, and it's awesome to spend. And this is why I love going to rooms. That's why I spend sometimes I just won't even go on. It's like I'm just there to watch. I just want to watch. You just sort of take it all in, and you see how it's all working, and you know, and that's why I hate the open micers that have done a couple of open mics, do their set, I'm out. You know, that fucking annoys the crap out of me. You know, it's like, well, no, hang around, mate. You might learn something. You might talk to somebody. You might, take it in a little bit or.
That comes back to what we were saying before. I think it's a really good gauge of like, you watch maybe 2-3 people before you, obviously depending on time, whatever, but like, you see the 2 or 3 people before you see what works and what doesn't, and then it's like, okay, well, he's just talked about this, so I'm going to cut that from my set because he fucking nailed that. Or
water sports. I want to do my water sport bit then. Yeah.
We'll both write water sports bit. And then you do your bit, and sometimes when you bomb, you just want to get the fuck out of there. That's more than understandable. But like, if you do alright, stick around for maybe 1 or 2 others after, then you can see, did you set the bar a bit higher that, it lifted the room, or did you kill it?
Yeah,
like in a bad way.
Whose material can I steal? That's another reason to hang around for some people. That guy's got a good water sport bit. I'm writing that down and using it. And, hey, you say no, there's people out there who do it.
You reckon?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an interesting podcast I came across the other day where I think it's a guy from here. It's posted on one of the Comedy Hub or something like that, where they try and work out if the joke's been stolen. This is with pro comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If the joke's stolen or not. And it was a guy, I can't remember who the comic was. It was from like 2016, the video, and then they cut to a clip of Bill Cosby doing the exact same joke in 1984 on a special.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, right, is this stolen? Or they're like, this is fucking stolen. It's word for word a joke. And they go through like different, comics, different years, and look, there is definitely some. I mean, we're all doing the same stuff,
There's similarities.
Pull back and reveal or some of them are just funny situational comedy or observational, but a lot of it, we're all. I mean, that's why the COVID thing will be so interesting. Like, how many jokes can you pull out of this situation that other people haven't?
But I reckon it's going to get boring too.
Oh, so quickly.
We've been talking about that for a while now since
it's already boring.
Oh, completely.
You don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's move on. We're done. We've been there. We were there fucking nearly a year. Let's get the fuck out of there.
For me, I think I have to write it. I have to write it down to get it out of my head. It's almost like saying it. So like, I've written a couple, and then that's it. I don't know if I'll ever do them. Yeah. I think when it goes back, it'll be the elephant in the room. Everyone's going to have to go, what the fuck was that all about? Like, what are we doing? Like, even now, like, I'm doing a gig in a few weeks where they're going to have 10 audience members. Yeah. That's going to be weird.
It will be weird.
Oh, Doug? Shit, I didn't recognise him. Fuck me.
No, neither.
Yeah.
Doug can come in, can't
You
he?
sure?
Yeah, come if you want.
I'm on the way or anything? Not in the middle or anything, am I?
No,
He's right in the middle of it.
Just about to wrap up.
We're just about to wrap up.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Sorry, guys. It's,
But all three of us didn't recognise you.
you know, oh, really?
Yeah, no, I just thought it was like some.
Who the fuck's walking through my house?
Yeah, it's the ISO beers happening. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, we'll be out in a sec.
sorry, guys. Sorry.
Doug Chappell, everyone!
Yeah.
Jeez.
Doug's
Broke in.
Doug does this on. He'll do this on stage as well when you're in the middle of a set. He'll just walk out,
Yeah. There you go.
especially if you're doing well. Hey, I told him to do that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good.
That's
Oh,
good.
Yeah, that's-
I don't remember what we're talking about.
I think it was water sports, or I can't remember.
No.
That's
Where
Jeffrey
can,
Epstein.
where can people get in contact? Are you still doing Love Is All You Need?
No, I haven't done that for ages. Me and my mates should probably do that. I've got a proper website, mattoneilcomedy.com, which is, it says arriving soon on it, but there's something there. It's like it's up, like it's
It's like a hidden track.
you know, yeah. And they're just all the same for Facebook, Instagram's Matt O'Neill Thunder Bastard, and yeah, just check me out. My next. Oh, that's right. I was going to say I've got a gig coming up. That's right.
Yep.
And it's in front of these two massive monitors with like 20 boxes with people in their living rooms.
Yeah.
I've done it already during lockdown, but and it was a weird experience. It was the closest I guess you could have to it. It was a great setup,
Yeah.
and you could see people laugh with them, interact with them, and you could hear them laughing. It was a little bit delayed, but this next gig is going to have 10 audience members and the screens as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think it's Simon from Kings of Comedy who's doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future he's talking about having these screens available at normal gigs, but for disabled people who can't get out to gigs, they can log on and watch and be part of the gig, which is quite a lovely concept, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's one good thing that's come out of all this. People thinking about ways to broadcast and get comedy out there. But yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you very much for being on today.
No, thanks for having me.
Thanks
That's
very much, man.
good on yous.